Hi, it's Garth Holman, and I'm here for the second part of the tutorial on MyMaps. My section is called Advanced Features of MyMaps, but we're going to quickly review what JC taught you in the last tutorial. So he started his tutorial on the most basic part of MyMaps. He set up your account in MyMaps. You added a title, description. He did the pins. He showed you two ways you could drop pins. He talked about what you could do once you dropped a pin, the toolbars that were available. And then he showed you how to add links inside those pin descriptions. Today, our task is to move through and do some more advanced features. So in this tutorial, we're going to go over the custom icons. How do you create custom icons? We're going to add lines to our MyMap, which is much like this pink line down here. So you've got actually one line here and a line here. So you got two there. We're going to talk about regions. Regions would just be this yellow icon as a region, or the green. We're going to talk about how to shade those in. How do we get it to be yellow? I'm going to show you how to build layers on your MyMap, and then I'm going to show you the preview of what it looks like on the web for others if they go to view yours. And the next tutorial will cover even more advanced features. So let's get started. We're going to go to MyMaps again like we always did, and I'm going to click to log in. JC created the MyMap, so you won't see it sitting here. It's shared with me. So when I go to share with me, I see basics of MyMaps, JC, and Garth. So I'm going to actually open that MyMap up, and I'm back in it. Now I can work on this map. First thing I'm going to do is show you quickly. We can change that name anytime we want. So I'm just going to change it now to JC and Garth MyMap. And we're going to save. So on your MyMap, he did one for Egypt, and he did one for, I assume this is Beechwood. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to customize this icon. To customize, you click your icon, and you get it to open. And you go to the paint bucket. You've got to start to envision if you had 50 things on here and they were all blue blobs, you wouldn't know what anything is. So you can go to more icons. He showed you the more icons that are here, but you can also do a custom icon. And in that place, you can go to a Google image search, and I can type in Beechwood. Oh, not that Beechwood, I guess. So if I do our school district, I can find this logo, or I could do the bison. Doesn't matter. I'll pick whichever. I'm going to go with this logo. I'm going to say select. So I picked one. It plops it down here, and I say OK. And now that becomes a customized icon. He's got a B on here for these driving directions, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this layer to get it off there for us. And now you can see the icon. So as you zoom in, that icon's there. You can see, OK, there's Beechwood. The second thing we're going to do is add a line. And adding a line is using this toolbar option. When you click it, you want to teach your kids driving directions I don't use. You may find a reason to do that. The biking route I'm not using, or walking. I only really use add a line or a shape. So we're going to use this for both the next two things we do. To add a line, you simply click where you want it to start and you drag the line wherever you want it to end. So let's say about New Orleans. I now created a line. I need to double click it to stop. If I move my cursor, it keeps going with the line. So you got to double click on the spot. Now you have a line. And I'm just going to put line 1 for us for what we're doing. Now I could write my details. I could do what you've done before. I could change colors and add information. So you can still do all those things he showed you. I'm not going to do that in this particular case. The other thing you can do with a line is under the style, you can make the line thicker so you can see it, and you can change colors. So I did that just so we can see the line and we can see what we're working with. When you do change a line, you should be able to grab, and sometimes it's hard to get the line to work exactly the way you want, but these dots you can drag. So if you mess up, you could say, I really want it to be to where Dallas might be, and you can move the line. You can also manipulate the line this way by dragging each cursor. So if you want to make a zigzag line or the shape of actual maybe somebody traveled, you can build that. And in any case, you can do it where they go to DC, and if you look at it now, they go from Cleveland to DC down through what we might say is Atlanta. But I still want to go to New Orleans, so I can drag it down to, Again, if you can't get the line, you can always click the line. That'll give you your dots again. And I can say I want to go to New Orleans. So now we can look at it. I go from Beechwood down to Washington. I don't know what would be here, Knoxville maybe. Then I'm down into New Orleans, and then I end up somewhere in Texas. So that's a line. Now, that's pretty simple to add lines. You can do them anywhere you want. I'm just going to leave that line for now, and we'll leave it as line 1. The next thing on ours is we want to do a region. Regions are rather simple. Regions are actually connecting your line. So if we take that line and connect it, we create a region. So in this case, I'm going to do a generic region of the New England states, right? So I want to kind of outline these states: Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. Now you could do this in any topic you were doing, but I'm going to create a line, and I'm going to start basically here. And I can get as perfect as I want, or I can make it as easy as I want. So I'm double clicking. Or I'm clicking one time. I'm just kind of going where the line sort of is. It's not perfect. Kids will get really perfect. I don't need to be that perfect, right? Mine, I'm just kind of showing, generally speaking, the connection. Now, when I go back to where I started and click, I now have a region. You can do this in any shape you want. So I'm going to call this New England. And if I were teaching, about the colonies or whatever. So if I click off, your region is dark automatically, but it shows a region it's named. If I click again, I can edit that and change colors. So I want it to be yellowish. I can make it more translucent or less so you can see it. I can change the border width to make the border a little wider. So as you zoom out, that image becomes very clear of here is the New England states. Now, it's not perfect. Again, some kids will go in and draw theirs like perfect. They'll do hours and hours and hours trying to get the lines perfectly to match. I don't think we need to do that for what we're doing. The second thing is you can add a pin to this. So I have this New England region. I can now just drop a pin in there. Now, the pin is not directly tagged to the region. So I could call this New England as well. And again, if we're thinking of a book or something we're doing, you could think of other regions. I can have my notes here. I can save, and I could add some imagery of New England. Again, this is stuff that JC told you, so I'm going to go fairly quickly. So I could do this and add it, and I could add another picture. Let's say, the geography. Good enough for now. And so I can add whatever you did before. I can save that, and I'm going to go ahead and customize my pin. So I'll do customization one more. I go to more options. I go to customize. And now I want something that represents New England. I don't know. I guess I think of I think of a picture like this, or the lake. Let's use the lake. Now, I could make this anything. I could make it a boat, whatever you want. But I'm just showing you, again, the custom icon. So now I have a custom icon there. Some kids will use the line itself and build their... Oh, excuse me, I'm on the line, my fault. Some people will use the region itself and build their notes into here. So when you go to edit, they can build their notes in and add their pictures. I sometimes, when I use it in class, I let them do it that way. Sometimes I tell them to add the pins so that they know what it actually is by the visual image. And you'll see that as we progress through the MyMaps. So that's shading a region, okay? And again, you can do a region wherever you want. We could do that in Egypt. So we could shade a region. We could do it wherever you want it on any part of the map. The other piece that I'm here to show you is I want to show you about how you can build layers. So to add a layer is pretty simple. I'm going to rename this layer. So I can rename the layer he started with. He didn't call it anything. I'm going to call this basics / regions, because we did basics and regions on this. So now this is called basic and regions. I want to add a new layer. And I'm going to call this new layer, again, I'm going to change the name, and I'm going to call this new layer, and again, you could use test 1, you're playing right now, we're going to delete this before our final product, but I'm going to call this personal, and I think you'll see why as we progress through the course. So I'm going to call it personal layer, so this is just something I'm going to build with personal imagery. So the way you have now is right now we have a few things on our MyMap. But if I turn off this layer, everything disappears, and now I can work just on my personal layer. So for this, I'm going to add one thing so there's something on mine, and I'm going to zoom in to where I grew up. Actually, I'll put the address in. And there's where I grew up, and this is my house out in the country. I'm going to add it to my map. I'm going to remove it so I no longer live here, but I'll just put where I grew up. Now, I could add imagery of this house, right? I could go on Google and get actual things. I could customize the icon, which, you know, I guess I will. So I'm going to customize it with Garth Holman. And I should find a picture of me. Here's me as the king. So I'll use my, no, I better not use that. I'll use this one, looks like me. And so now, oops, I didn't do a custom icon, sorry. Let me try that again. Custom icon. I had just done the image. So we'll use this one. Select, there's my custom icon. So now my map shows, hey, there's me. And that's the house I grew up on in Jordan, New York. So you could say I lived out in a pretty rural area. So now I've got two layers. If I zoom my map back out, and I'm trying to get out far enough, the Finger Lakes region of New York. So I'm getting my map out pretty well. It's way too small. No, it's not. It works. The only thing on this layer is me, but I can now turn on the other layer and everything else appears. So that's how you work layers. If I want to turn off my personal layer, my picture disappears and we just see what we built in the basic and the regions. If I add personal, now I can see my personal layer appearing. So those are the steps we just went over. Let's take a look back at our agenda. Make sure we did custom icons. We added a line. We shaded a region. We connected the line. We added color and a pin to that region. We built a new layer, and we got to take a look at preview. So preview lets you click here, and it opens a new page on the web, what it looks like. And the MyMap looks slightly different on the web to somebody looking at it. When you do it there, it comes up this way. It is built this way. And again, you can still turn layers on and off and go to a totally blank map. I can go to an individual map. So it shows the picture and my address, which probably I shouldn't have used, but I don't live there anymore, so I guess it doesn't matter. So this is kind of the preview version, okay? So you have your building version and then what it would look like out on the web, okay? And we'll be able to show you this more as we go on to the next layer. So if we take a look on the next tutorial, you're going to learn about sharing, making things public or private, how you can collaborate with other people at the same time, how to embed Google Docs, how to embed it on other websites, and then other advanced features you may be interested in. So again, I hope you're enjoying what you're learning about MyMaps and starting to think about how you could use this in your classroom. Have a great day.